Hi, hello, and welcome to another episode of Black Girl Bible. I'm your host, Breneé Imani, and today is Season 3, Episode 23, Trusting God Through the Hard Seasons with Anisa Breneé.
Hi.
So let's start off just with a brief word of prayer, and then we'll jump into all things Naomi today.
Yes.
So God, I thank you for this day. I thank you for allowing us to be here together. I thank you for giving us this space to learn more about who you are through the lens of different women in the Bible. I pray that whoever is listening today can learn something new, maybe about Naomi, and experience you, God, in a new way. I pray that our conversation will be uplifting not only to each of us, but also to whoever may be listening. I pray that you continue to guide us on our journey to becoming more and more of the women that you have called each one of us to be. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Alrighty. Just briefly, so you and I, we met at church.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where I meet everybody these days. So
Yeah, that's all we do.
Nothing new.
Right.
But just want you to do a little introduction of yourself, who you are, what you do, things you love.
Yeah. Well, hey, everybody. I'm Anisa Breneé, and I'm a multimedia personality. I'm an MC. I host a lot of events. I host at church.
Yep.
And I'm just a girl who loves Jesus. I love the Lord. And so I'm super excited. I'm also a little bit nervous, but
It's okay.
we're here. It's a safe space.
Yes.
I'm feeling
Yes.
the vibes.
Today we're going to be looking at the story of Naomi. As always, I definitely recommend that you all go and actually read through the scriptures on your own. We're going to go through some of them today, but not all of them. So you can find her story in Ruth chapter 1 through 4. And so just a little bit about who Naomi was as we jump into her story. She was a wife, a mother, and eventually became a widow. And she was originally from Bethlehem in Judah. She ends up becoming a mentor, a matchmaker, and a guide as she helps Ruth find redemption through Boaz. And we're really just going to take a look at Naomi's wisdom and her influence and how she was able to help position herself as a key figure in God's plan for her legacy.
The big
and lineage.
picture.
Yeah. So I'll just summarize that first part. But in Ruth chapter 1 is really where we get to see Naomi for the first time. And they're introducing us to, who she was, her husband, her sons, and
Who Ruth is or who Naomi is?
Naomi is.
Yes.
So her husband and then her two sons.
Yes.
Who then married
To
Ruth and
Moabite women.
what is the other girl's name?
Orpha.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, because I was like, wait a second.
Y'all, my Bible was open, okay?
Yes. Everybody dies, pretty much. That's
It's
what happens.
really sad.
It is.
Immediately sadness.
It is. So Naomi's husband dies, and her two sons die. And then so we're just left with the women. And Naomi was really in a place where she was telling the two, I guess like her daughter-in-laws, to leave.
Go home.
Try to find other men. Like she wasn't going to be able to do anything else for them. Yeah. And Orpah ends up leaving, but Ruth stays.
Yeah.
And so in Ruth chapter 1, verse 16 through 18, it says, "But Ruth replied, 'Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if even death separates you and me.' When Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped urging her." So I just thought this was honestly such a beautiful moment, because in a time where Naomi was probably feeling like everything's gone, like especially because she had moved away from like her hometown, her family, everything. When you feel like on the highs where God's blessed you and you have everything you've dreamed of and everything's great, and then all of a sudden like it all came crashing down and it was gone. And she probably felt like she was left with nothing. And so to have somebody that she wasn't expecting to really like stay with her and like rock with her like that, be like, no, I'm here and I'm going to be with you regardless of what it looks like. I think that was really special.
It was, but can I backtrack just a touch? I find a lot of enjoyment in reading the Bible almost as like how we talk today. So I'll try to translate it in a way that would come off almost in a text message or me talking to a friend. When I think about Naomi saying, go back to your mothers, go back and find someone else. I could have another child if God had me have another child. Are you going to wait? And so I think in the back of my mind, it's almost like we isolate ourselves when things get rough. And so,
I do that.
yeah, I
do
do
that.
too. And I'll keep one or two homegirls on speed dial in case of emergency. But a lot of the time, we like to go through things by ourselves. And how this starts is a beautiful interpretation of we were never supposed to be alone. I think a lot of times we leave it at Adam and Eve and how man is never supposed to be alone. But community-wise, we're supposed to be in close community with people. And so Ruth's sacrifice, like, no, I'm here, I'm committed to this family, didn't mean once he is gone, I'm no longer committed to you.
Yeah.
I can still be here, I can still be present. That doesn't take anything away from Orpha. That's just her calling was different.
Yeah.
And I think that we have different people in our lives whose callings are different for the seasons that we walk into. So
if you love diving deeper into God's Word, you're going to love Black Girl Bible Plus. It's your all-access pass to exclusive devotionals, faith-based resources, and even bonus podcast episodes you won't hear anywhere else. Whether you're looking for guided Bible studies, scripture breakdowns, or real conversations about faith, Black Girl Bible Plus gives you everything you need to grow spiritually and stay consistent in your walk with God. Join the community today. Head to blackgirlbible.com to sign up and start your journey now. And that's why I feel like her story is so special. I think sometimes she gets like the background character
every time.
vibe. But I wanted to highlight her because I do think that her role in even just Ruth's story is so special. And I think even sometimes in life, right, not everybody, but a lot of people want to be the main character. And it's realizing like, okay, sometimes, you may not be the one in the forefront. You may not be the one getting all the glory and all the recognition and whatever, but you still have an important role to play, and there's still purpose in whatever area God places us in. And that's what I see like with Naomi, like she's not the Ruth and Boaz story and everybody talks about Ruth and Boaz, but Ruth got Boaz because Naomi was there. If we're going to get to it, but
she got Boaz because because Naomi was there and that was her relative. Yeah. But we're going to get to that later. We're going to get to it later.
Yeah.
Speaking of, for the girls out there who are looking for their Boaz, it might be your friend's relative. I don't know. But I think in all seriousness, just thinking about how this kicks off, yes, it's sad. But immediately, because of the cadence of the story, we start to see a shift.
Yeah.
The minute that she has somebody to lean on, it's almost like a bit of hope shows up. Like a flicker of light. And I don't want to jump too far ahead, so let me be quiet because I'm about to read this story down, okay? Go ahead, please.
We're going to get to it. But I think, too, what you mentioned, like how we tend to self-isolate. When she realized she was determined to go with her, she stopped urging her. So she was pushing her, like, no, you need to leave. You need to leave. So I'm going to
stay. I'm going to stay. At some point, we stop resisting the people who are sent to help us. Mm-hmm. And that's not something that we just walk into. It's learned. Like, how many seasons are you going to go through by yourself until you realize you
don't
need...
have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's real.
I can relate.
Definitely. I also want to talk about how Naomi was very, I think, like resilient and also honest. So if we look at Ruth chapter 1, verse 19, it says, so the two women went on, the two women being Ruth and Naomi, until they came to Bethlehem. When they arrived in Bethlehem, the whole town was stirred because of them. And the women exclaimed, can this be Naomi? Don't call me Naomi, she told them. Call me Mara, because the Almighty has made my life very bitter. I went away full, but the Lord has brought me back empty. Why call me Naomi? The Lord has afflicted me. The Almighty has brought misfortune upon me. So Naomi returned from Moab, accompanied by Ruth the Moabite, her daughter-in-law, arriving in Bethlehem as the barley harvest was beginning. To me, this was like two-sided, right? Because on one hand, I'm like, okay, I think she shows her resilience in returning home, because when I think back on stories and like look at different things in the Bible, I've realized how much shame and pressure I think comes from women who weren't married or couldn't have children. And so I think if you put like that context on it, like, okay, you left home and now you're coming back, your husband's gone, your sons are gone, like she's probably feeling like, well, what do I have left?
And I also want to add, I think there's a part in this specific book that doesn't mention, which I think this is my brain going back to something I heard Dr. Jazz say at church when she came and preached, is that the decision to move to Moab was Naomi's decision originally because there was famine where they were. So she said, okay, well, let's go here. They go there. Everybody's unalived. And then you come back and it's just you. And now your daughter-in-law, who, I mean, I guess if you look at it like she really owes you nothing, it's hard to sit with because what if I never made that decision?
Yeah. Okay, because I think about this a lot too, where like when I just think back on my life and different decisions I made and stuff, and it's like, probably could have avoided that whole season.
If I would have just did something different.
But at the same time, I think like God uses those moments to shape us, to mold us, to like sometimes we need those experiences. So it's like, okay, on one hand, I'm like, I think I could have avoided some of that. But on the other hand, it's like, well, I thank God for keeping me through it and allowing me to experience some of those things, to be able to learn from them or to be able to help other people who may be going through that same thing. And so it's like with Naomi, I don't know, things would have been completely different, probably, if she hadn't gone.
Who knows?
But then we wouldn't have Ruth.
You wouldn't have Ruth. You wouldn't have the story that you have today. So even looking at our own lives, it's like, okay, yeah, I could have done things differently, but if it meant not being exactly where I am right now, would you change anything? I mean, I think when you look at it from an aspect of grief, of course, we would all rather have our loved ones with us. Yeah. But in that same breath, it's almost like I would rather them be here, yes, but would that have stopped me from being who I am and where I am?
Usually, yes.
Usually, yes. I mean, but it's a slippery slope because I can't imagine what it's like to lose your husband and both of your sons.
Yeah, that's a
currently.
lot.
I have no kids. I have no husband yet.
Hey, I was like, where is it yet?
Hey, it's coming. But I can't imagine, and being an older woman who, the goal is to marry your son off and to do the things. She says it. I'm an old woman. Would you be willing to wait? If the answer is no, then please go. Like, don't keep my hopes up. Well, we kept your hopes up for another reason. Yeah. And it's to fulfill the greater plan. And also, too, thinking about God and his plan versus us thinking that God is giving us a chance to rewrite what we have chosen based off of free will. We can rewrite. God already wrote it. So he knew this is going to happen. And we're like, okay, I'm going to try again.
Let me add a little something over here.
Let me edit this paper real quick.
Wait, that didn't work out well. Let me just...
Yeah, let me edit it. Let's edit it.
I think I can appreciate Naomi's honesty in this part where she was wallowing a little bit. She was. When she was like, don't even call me Naomi anymore. Just call
Change
me
my
Mara.
name.
I'm like, my life is bitter. God's forsaken me. And I think I appreciated that being included because it's, I think, just being honest about the pain that she was feeling and that human experience that we have, because I think it can be so easy to say, well, like, I know God's plans for me and everything's going to work together for my good. And those, it's great and it's true, but we have those moments where we feel the feels of whatever situation we're going through.
This is the perfect example of like not taking the Bible so literally and looking more of even her name change figuratively. If I would have just stopped at, you ain't never been so dramatic to change your name. Oh my gosh, call me Ashley. I don't even want you to know me. I don't want, because a friend of mine from church, when my apartment complex caught on fire, all I said was, I need a new Bible. Immediately she got me a Bible. And as I was reading this story at the very bottom, and they put the
footnotes.
The footnotes, yes. And it said Naomi meant pleasant and Mara meant bitter. I said, it's little things like this that really help bring the story to life. But I can't say there's been a time where I've been so what I would consider dramatic to change my name. Call me something else.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the name and its meaning anymore. But I have been so dramatic to don't look at me, don't talk to me, I'm not going out, I don't want to do this. Like, just stop inviting me. So to take away the literalness of this, it's like, in what moments have you isolated so much or changed something about yourself towards other
like
people?
Unrecognizable.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I think that's what I see like with the name change is she had went through so much that she didn't even see herself as who she was. Just as I've gotten older and like I'm like, still learning myself and who I am and the different little things about me, I'm like, okay, is this me or is this because of something I went through? Like, are we allowing our experiences to change us? And then, because I think PD's talked about that before too a little bit. What part of you is you and what part of you is based on an experience that you've had? And so with this, it's like she was allowing her experience to change her in not the best way and just holding on to that. And I think she was identifying with her pain as opposed to experiencing it and then moving on from it. And so that was something where I was like, okay, I can see where I've done that before. And it was a reminder to me to not get caught in that place.
It's good.
Yeah. What I do think, though, was also interesting, even in that part where she's wobbling. She still had her identity in God. Now, she misplaced it a little bit in terms of like how she saw herself, but I think she was blaming God a bit for what happened. She's like, the Lord has afflicted me. He brought misfortune on me. But I think she still recognized like God's place in her life.
She had a very human experience.
Yeah. And I think that's something important to note as well. Like, she didn't completely turn from God. I think she was angry at God, but still knew like he was there. He's still with me, not in the way I want him to be, which I think that was just her in her feels.
I mean, I can say this book specifically, it being Old Testament, I think we see God in Old Testament. That is they talk about fearing the Lord.
Yeah.
It was fearful.
It was fear.
Okay. So considering the God that we see throughout the Old Testament, I'm no one to say, well, that wasn't that bad.
I didn't think about it like that. I did not think about it like that.
The Lord afflicted me, yes, because when we attach ourselves to things and people, God will swoop in and show you exactly how quickly he can make sure that doesn't become your idol.
Yeah.
And not to say that I think that her husband or her sons were becoming an idol, but I think the language that she uses, God is afflicting me, he's against me, whatever it is, we pour so much into the cup of God being good all the time, and he is. But and I'm talking to myself here because I've been through a season where I felt like, God, what are you doing? Why? It couldn't be me. And it absolutely was me. So it doesn't make you any less good. It just means that I can have a human experience and be frustrated.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've seen God do some big God things and only things God can do. But I just think that what is pain and what is hurt and what is sorrow and wallowing for us is almost like, God's like, please.
Yeah. Are you done?
All right, please.
If you've ever wanted to read the entire New Testament but didn't know where to start, I've got you. The New Testament Bible Challenge is a simple, structured reading plan that helps you stay consistent just one chapter a day without overwhelming you. This plan is designed to fit into your daily routine while helping you truly understand God's Word. Whether you're reading solo or with a group, this challenge will help keep you on track and growing in your faith. Are you ready to dive in? Download the reading plan now at blackgirlbible.com and start your journey through the New Testament today. Something I've really tried to be conscious about is not allowing my situation and circumstances to change how I view God. And who God is. Because I think that can be really easy. And I mean, I get the context of the Old Testament's a little different, but at least now, today.
This God?
Yeah.
The
merciful, loving, and gracious one. That gave us Jesus, that one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
I think it can be easy to feel like when everything's going wrong and everything's crumbling around you, then for your view of God to start changing. And I think that's
because you wrote it.
Yeah. Like that's when I think like our faith is tested.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, just because something didn't work out how I wanted it to, or just because I lost something doesn't change that you are still a good father, that you still love me, that you still are there with me. And I think that is something that I've definitely been, because I knew it, but having to really like experience it and feel it and learn it, is different. And so I think that is also kind of what I was paying attention to, just looking at the story, is like, how have I reacted in situations, and how have I allowed my situation to change how I view God? And I think I always like to hold on to as well that if God takes something from us, he's not going to just like leave us without or in an inferior place. Like, he's always going to give us something better or greater. And it may not be what we think or like how we imagine it should look like or what we might think better is, but ultimately it's going to just lead us closer to where he wants us to be.
You're preaching. You are.
I think one thing that I've always really paid attention to when I read Naomi was Ruth chapter 3, verse 3 through 6, where she's like telling Ruth what to do to get Boaz.
Go get your man, girl.
Yeah. Where she said, wash, put on perfume, and get dressed in your best clothes. Then go down to the threshing floor. But don't let him know you are there until he has finished eating and drinking.
Come on.
When he lies down,
pleased.
Note the place where he is lying. Then go and uncover his feet and lie down. He will tell you what to do.
He said, what are you doing? Ma'am.
I will do whatever you say, Ruth answered. So she went down to the threshing floor and did everything her mother-in-law told her to do. So I thought this was important because we get to really see how Naomi's she's very wise and very strategic. She knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
And I think...
Get yours.
Yeah, the way that she was able to guide Ruth in that, I think, is special. And that's how we kind of get to see her as kind of that mentor, where Ruth decided to stay with her and she really took her in and just guided her and wanted to be there for her. Our influence can bless future generations. I think that's what Naomi was able to experience, like just what ended up coming from Ruth and Boaz as part of her influence that she had on them.
What also comes with that is us having a level of discernment to trust somebody that much around us to say, this is what you need to do. And it's like, man, woman aside, people, can I listen to you? Are you wise counsel, or are you just a good friend?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I think I'm in a season of that too, if I'm being honest. I've had a hard time with female relationships getting close with other women after a friend breakup. Because what happens, we as women have a harder time coming back together than I feel like a lot of men do.
Yeah.
And so to make myself that much more vulnerable to another woman who could potentially do the same thing, like, I don't think we talk about what those female relationships do.
Yeah.
Pain-wise, versus how many times we'll try over and over and over again with a man or with a partner or with whomever, right? My discernment, or like I like to say, my antennas are up even more so when it comes to who I'm getting counsel from, who am I keeping as like a bonus mother or an auntie or whoever that is, because I carry that so heavily in my pocket. I want whoever I'm with or dating or working on a future with, I want the women in my life to say absolutely, or to be able to speak life into what's happening as opposed to speaking from a hurt place. Because Naomi very well could have said, "Nah, not now. You're gonna be hurt with me."
Yeah. Yeah.
What if?
Wow, that's true.
What if? Not let's go find you someone else while I'm still grieving. No, let's go to the bar. Let's go have some communion and let's have a moment together, and we can just be sad, and eventually we just gonna be in the streets.
To have those people around you that if you're in a bad place, to be able to lift you up, but if they're in a bad place, to still be able to lift you up. Like, people that aren't going to drag you down with them, because I mean, I've seen that.
Yeah.
They can get you down.
Yeah.
They can get you
and
down.
not knowing that you doing this for her is ultimately fulfilling the plan God has for you.
I mean, people say misery loves company. So
Festering.
yeah. And I think it's so interesting that you mentioned, like, just even with friendship breakups too. Like, I know I had friend breakups before I ever even started like dating, you know, like, and so I know how those experiences affected me, and how I think, if I'm being honest, like, going through life post a couple of those, like this, at arm's length, like just not letting people
don't want to get too
in.
close.
Yeah, because it's like, been there, done that. I don't really want to. I think God's been dealing with me about it too, just because, I mean, he brings people into our lives, and whether, we're there for each other, but not allowing myself to be like jaded from
I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
I'm still working on it. And it is hard. It really is. I think God is working on it through me as well, because I'm very much at a distance. But what I've noticed that I do is everybody has a label. That's my church friend. Oh, we go to the gym together. Or oh, nobody is just a friend. Like, that wasn't already there. And I think that that's almost a safety measure for me, because I know where. Yep. And I've never been one to compartmentalize my friends. At least I didn't feel like I did. So
see, is that you, or is that based on the experiences that you've had?
Exactly. You see how we do this? It's like a comedy sketch. We always bring it back. Bring it back. So yeah, I mean, it's all of those things. And so this story is more about, like we said in the beginning, the community aspect. It's a friendship. They're sisters.
Yeah.
They're sister, mother, daughter. I don't know. Mother, daughter, besties, whatever.
They had a really close
relationship. They
relationship.
were close. And I don't think Naomi realized how close they were until Ruth decided not to go back to her own mother. Because the Bible even says once you are married, you are to leave your mother and father. And so to hold on to that piece of what God tells you to do as a man and as a woman who goes to get married or go into a union, she kept not only her vow to her husband, but to God.
Yeah.
I follow you. Where you die, I die. That is deep.
No, it is.
Because I would like to be by my mom.
Yeah.
You know, it's so many things to think about, but Ruth carried a lineage that was technically, if you just look at it like big picture, it wasn't even Naomi's lineage until it was.
Yeah.
I got a cousin for you, babe, here. Cousin on my husband's side, so it's not even yours.
Let's look at Ruth chapter 4. And it says, the women said to Naomi, praise be to the Lord, who this day has not left you without a guardian redeemer. May he become famous throughout Israel. He will renew your life and sustain you in your old age. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you and who is better to you than 7 sons, has given him birth. So, and then, you know.
And then that son was Obed, and then Obed was Jesse, and then Jesse was David.
Yes.
Let me tell you something.
It goes down the line.
I've been reading. It's so crazy.
How everything's connected.
I mean, it's a setup to tell us that if you think that's connected, what do you think we're living in right now? We are one big circle of life. Or even living in Atlanta. You meet people all the time who are the nieces, the nephews, the grandparents of civil rights leaders and people who have made such an impact here in the community just from going to high school with them. And I think about the different generations that happen here, specifically in the city. It's like, I know my parents' generation was one thing. My grandparents' generation, they marched in the streets. And then their parents were doing something else. But all of those traditions, all of those stories, those even being passed down, I think that we're in a resurgence for this version of a pass down. We are opening our Bibles so much more.
Yes.
We are retelling the story. We are finding digestible ways to make the Bible not feel, forgive me if this is you, but King James. I don't know what that says.
I'm not at King James yet.
Okay, I'm not there yet, but
NIV.
Praise ye the Lord. Praise ye. So I think in all of those things, like you said, yeah, it's almost like all of the light bulbs are turning on. They're being screwed like they were back then. The stars were aligning by every conversation that happened. By passing down what happened in the Bible, and now we're getting to do it again.
God restored Naomi's story and how she had got to such a low place, feeling so bitter and forsaken. And then to be able to be part of that story and lineage that eventually is going to lead to Jesus. Just showing and I mean, the reality is in her lifetime, she didn't know that. We get to see how much ends up coming from her story, but I mean, she never really knew that.
Yeah, if I could ask anybody back then, is Did you know that what you experienced would be told for centuries to come? Did you know
really cool.
that you would be the blueprint for how to navigate seasons?
Have you ever felt like becoming the woman God has called you to be feels overwhelming? Like you're striving for Proverbs 31, but don't know where to start? Well, I have something just for you. The Becoming Her devotional is a 30-day journey to help you cultivate faith, purpose, and godly habits without the pressure of perfection. Each day, you'll dive into scripture, reflect on practical wisdom, and create a plan to walk boldly in your calling. So if you're ready to step into the woman God designed you to be, grab your copy of Becoming Her today. Just visit blackgirlbible.com and start your journey. So I do want to look at how Naomi embodies that essence of the Proverbs 31 woman. So the first one that I want to look at is Naomi's wisdom and guidance, right? We talked about it a little bit, but if we look at Proverbs 31 verse 26, it says, she speaks with wisdom and faithful instruction is on her tongue. And I think that's what we saw when Naomi was giving counsel to Ruth of just how to carry herself as a woman, how to find a husband that could help her continue her lineage. To me, that was like, yes, wisdom and guidance, just like that Proverbs 31 woman.
I made a post the other day. I saw it on TikTok. She says, I think that so many of us want to and aspire to be the Proverbs 31 woman, which is great, beautiful. Mm-hmm. But I don't think we realize how much pressure that is.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't even know if Naomi realized that she was as much pressure as she was. I'm just going to say this, and it may shake the table. If we would stop treating Proverbs 31 like a checklist, mm-hmm. I think we'd be better off. Mm-hmm. Because there's no way, if I am 16 years old reading this for the first time, I'm doing all of those things. Yep. I think that we are also in a time where we say a lot. We got to give ourselves grace. Yeah. There's no way you can put that much pressure on yourself being as young as we are and give yourself grace at the same time. Yeah. You're not going to figure it out tomorrow, or for me, figure it out by 30. Okay? It's not realistic. It doesn't give you any room to grow. It forces you to be so focused on matching what the scripture says that when do you actually put those things to work? Mm-hmm. And I think that different seasons force you to put those different verses into work to fulfill each one. And if you don't fulfill them all, then fine. Like you said, it's not a one size fits all. Mm-hmm. It is the paramount of what, or of not of what, but of how a woman should be who loves the Lord. Mm-hmm.
Why is it included in the Bible? And I think that's how I've looked at it. It's like, okay, like why was it there? Why is it in Proverbs specifically when it's like the book about wisdom and you know, everything? And so it's like, okay.
Because it takes wisdom to get those things.
Yeah.
And it's the last one. That's your finish line. Mm-hmm. That's not the
starting point.
Yeah.
Proverbs 31 verse 25 says, she is clothed with strength and dignity, and she can laugh at the days to come. I think it just shows like the ups and downs, the peaks and valleys that we're going to go through in life, and how our journeys with God, our relationships with God are not linear. And as we experience things, it's going to go up and down, but that God can be with us through it all. And that when we think it's over,
it's only the beginning.
Over. Yeah.
It's only the beginning. She's clothed with strength and dignity. If we're looking at the text, Naomi was clothed in strength by deciding to go back home. Her dignity showed up by going back home and answering to, isn't that Naomi? Mm-hmm. Isn't that, why is she here?
I thought you,
but I thought you went with them. You left.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless of how she responded to, please, don't call me that, not even please, but don't call me that. There are so many moments of strength through the turmoil that I think that that's what it means. It's like when we look at our storms, where did your strength show up? That you didn't even realize it showed up. On the days that you chose to get up and try anyways, that is you being clothed, in my interpretation, your strength. It's you walking into rooms in the faces of adversity and still choosing to go through it. Like, yeah, we praise on the outside of our storms, but like in the middle, what did that look like for you? So like even in your reflection questions, that's something that came up in my mind is what did strength for me look like in these seasons where I had to lean on God and God alone? I had one or two people I could call, but even then it's almost like me consulting my focus group as opposed to asking God, what do you need from me?
I wanted to ask, like, how do you respond when life doesn't go the way that you hoped? Okay, like, let's say, right, God's telling me to go this way, and then I go, and then it gets hard, and I'm like, well, why did you tell me to go this way? Or did I not hear you right? Like, and I kind of start to question or doubt, and it's like, no, like, that can very well still be the way that God wanted you to go. So just because hard things are happening doesn't mean you're not where you're supposed to be. I think that's how I've looked at it previously, and so God's really been, like, changing my mindset with that. And so that's allowed me to change how I respond in those moments. I think I still have my sad.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to decrease the time that I'm worried and sad and anxious about the situation and be able to trust God more. And so, I mean, there's a couple different scriptures that I've really been like trying to pull on in those moments to help me not stay in that place.
Well, the first thing I do is I take that day in that bed. Like I will be sad. I don't like being told don't be sad. It wasn't that deep. Like God's got you. Yeah, I know. I'm aware, but
Let me be sad.
allow
first.
me. Yeah, give me a minute. Having gone through a season that was so uncertain, that was confusing. I mean, losing your home, which I did by someone else's hand. And displacing so many residents, it was unpredictable. There wasn't information being given. And so every day I'm like, God, I trust you to do what you need to do. But at the same time, I am ugly crying, snotting, what happened to my things, while also trying to ensure I'm not placing them above God as they're not an idol, but it was things that I worked so hard for. It was a life I worked hard to build. And then I had to realize how I was positioning it. Because, I did that, but we did that. God, you placed me here. You made sure that I could do this for 3 years. You gave me all of the things that I had. It was a nasty season. And I had people around me who supported me through it, but it really was a marathon with me and God. How do you not stay there? Like, I don't know what pulled me out of it, but there were good days. And on those good days, it was like, all right, in order to continue feeling this way, you have to keep going. If you like what this feels like, keep going. And then a day would pop up where that feeling there was nothing I could do to get it back. Those were harder because now that I've gotten a taste of it getting better, I needed to stay getting better, but I don't have the energy for it to be better. So I take my day. And now on the other side of that storm, God blessed me 10, 11, 12 times over.
That's right.
So in so many areas, from my support system to finding a new home, and quicker than I thought it would happen. So again, we reference PD a lot here, but one of my first sermons I heard him preach on when I first started going to change a few years ago was, God blesses big and fast. And it's not up to us to determine the speed of that blessing because sometimes it can take a little bit longer. But all I've been saying over the last almost 8 or 9 months is big and fast, big and fast. Yep. Because trajectory, it's like David in his slingshot. Let me draw this back and I'm going to knock this down. I'm in the slingshot, babe. I am. This whole time I've been sitting in the slingshot waiting to be released. I just had to be ready to be released. And so once I finally stopped trying to control everything, I was
when we finally get out the way, God's like, all right, thank you.
Talk about it. Yes.
What does faithfulness look like in a season of loss or a transition? And so I know you talked a little bit about, the experiences that you've had, especially with losing your home and like what did that faithfulness look like?
So here's how the story goes, right? And it didn't hit me until right before this move, why all of it had to happen, is that in May, I got moved to part-time on my job, like randomly, out of the blue, didn't know what was happening, whatever. So hit on a Friday. I thought I was doing great, right? So lost my benefits, salary, all the things. I'm on an hourly situation. That was in May. July, end of July, is when the apartment fire happens. Whole building, everybody immediately has to evacuate. Never was able to really go back inside. I moved out. I was supposed to move out August 9th. The fire was July 27th. At that point, I was going to go live with family anyways. Prior to the fire, I was going to go move and save some money so I could figure out what was next. Fire happens, was supposed to move out, don't have my things, got to rebuild this life. Luckily, I had insurance. So from August or end of July, August, all the way through, let's just go to December, I ended up getting my full-time job back. Didn't know it was coming, but got my benefits back. I asked because I was working over a certain amount of hours, got my benefits back, and then a few weeks later, they brought me back full-time. Just for end of January to come, first week of February, I need to find somewhere else to live. That's what faithfulness looks like. Is there's no way, if I had even thought about staying where I was staying, I would have been able to financially stay there. I wasn't making the money I was. And not to say that the job was doing it all, but it was definitely helping. So I was going to have to bow out, break a lease, do something. But the whole time, God knew, okay, I'm going to take this away now. I'm going to set you up for you having to leave. You're not going to have the same money that you had before, but you're not going to need it where you're going because you're staying with family. And then I'm going to give you this job back, save a little bit, and then 2 months later, I'm going to move you into the home that you said that you wanted. So we might not always understand it. And you may have your revelation at the end or what feels like the end or whatever that looks like. I haven't been able to put a word to it, but I think that is the best way to describe what does faithfulness look like in a storm. It's that there is an eagle eye view of what is ahead of you, and it's going to take you submitting to whatever the plan is. And even if you're not going to say, yes, I submit to your plan, God's going to force you into it.
Yeah.
My hands were tied. There was nothing anybody could do or say, insurance money, nothing. It didn't matter because I was so hung up on I wasn't ready to go. But if I'm being honest, even months before I got moved to part-time, I was hearing like in the back of my head, Anisa, you need to pack. You need to pack. Like put that stuff in that box, get rid of it, do away with it. And I was like, I'm not ready. I don't want to close this chapter yet. I wasn't ready to let who I was go. I wasn't ready to let go of where I was living. And also, this is around the time I met my boyfriend. So not only am I shifting into dependency on someone else because I need to leave room for him to be a man, but like, what? So I was being stubborn. And so I never got to pack those things. I never got to do the goodbye that I wanted to. But again, that's what, if you're not going to submit, I'm going to force you to submit. And then if you're not going to listen to the voice that I'm the one telling you to do this, okay. Just like that, okay.
But I think, you kept showing up.
And that's the other part, right?
The same thing we talked about with Naomi, right? Like that.
The strength and the dignity.
To go home.
Yeah. I did not want to go home. I was like, it's so far away. I don't want to do this. Like, why? If you let me be here for 3 years, I said this, if you let me be here for 3 years, why are you taking it from me now? Well, it's because I have now moved into the home that I toured before I moved into that apartment. How?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't afford it then. Well, guess what? Get out of the way. Surprise. Yeah.
I think that's how that faithfulness showed up for you.
Literally.
Like holding on and getting up every day and still being there. And in a season you didn't necessarily want to be in. And then on the end of it, it's, okay, God, I see what you did there.
I see what you did there. It was not cute by any means, but this is, I understand.
But that is pretty much it for
That's
today.
so good.
I do have a little something I want to give you.
Oh.
This is for you.
Thank you.
Just thank you. My little token of appreciation just for your time and for being here and for sharing your story with us.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm really excited for you and all God is going to do in your life, and I just hope that He continues to bless you. I think that you are a blessing and a light in the room. I think, just in the time that we've interacted with each other since I've known you, like, I think you're a very bright light, and I just want to tell you to keep being that, even when it's hard.
Thank you, girl. And I just thank you for not giving up on scheduling this, because this was hard. Okay? What y'all don't know is how many... We were supposed to do this at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
But, man, again, faithfulness, the pursuit, all of it, like, you are one of God's favorite homegirls. So, thank you for having me, and I hope that y'all were blessed by this.
Yes. Alrighty, well, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.